Good morning. Happy Friday the 13th. Yay. We are back at it. We have DoorDash on, Uber Eats on. We are doing earn by offer. I am only working until 6 tonight because my granddaughter's last game is tonight. So, yeah. Right now, estimate wait time is 12 to 22 minutes on a Friday. So weird. But kids are at school. So, let's go make some money. Alright, we got our first order, $6.50 for 2.8. Let's go do it. Bye-bye. Alright, that's all picked up. 3 minutes, 0.84 miles to drop off. If this van ever moves. That's all dropped off. Looks like we're going back to Wawa. It's over there. Alright, that's all picked up. 12 minutes, 5.73 miles to the drop off. Alright, let's go drop this off. Leave it there. Alright, that's all dropped off. Just need service. Here we go. Alright, we got our next order, Starbucks. What was it? $8 for 7.5 miles. Picking up one white chocolate mocha. Yep, hot. Ew. Let's go do it. How long I'm gonna have to wait in here for one cup of coffee. God, it's gonna snow. It was actually ready. 11 minutes, 4.85 miles to the drop off. Alright, that's all dropped off. All post what I made. $8 for $8.25 for 8.1 for one thing of ground beef. I guess we'll take that. Alright, looks like we're going to Giant next. Alright, let's go get this ground beef. Alright, ground beef is secured. 8 minutes, 3.67 miles to drop off. Alright, let's go leave this at the door. Alright, that was a $1.75 tip. 1 to 3. Alright, we got our next order. Wawa, different Wawa this time. For $7.50. Let's go. Alright, that's all picked up. 6 minutes, 2.62 miles. She's in the clubhouse. Let's go. Alright, that's all dropped off. We have our next order. $9.75. Going 2.2 miles. Shopping for 8 items. Not great, but it keeps the wheels going. Let's go do it. Alright, let's go shopping. Alright, they're both shopped for 4 minutes, 1.35 miles to the first drop off. Alright, that's all dropped off. The next one's 10 minutes, 2.85 miles to the drop off. Alright, that's all dropped off to the 8. Alright, we got our next order, $6 for 2.8 miles. Picking up at Wawa. Let's go back to Wawa. Alright, that's all picked up. 5 minutes, 1.7 miles to the drop off. Alright, let's go now. Drop this off. Alright, you're on camera. Alright, that's all dropped off. 2-7. Looks like we're going to Giant. $20, 15 miles, 11 items. 2 customers. Alright, let's go shopping. The one item only has 2 ramen. The other one has a bunch of veggies. Let's go do it. Alright, they're both shopped for. First one is 14 minutes, 5.07 miles to drop off. The one lady in Cecilton only got 2 ramen going all that mile. My God. Uber just sent me a shopping pay. $5, 42 items going 10 miles at Lowe's. Oh, thank you. Let's go drop this off. Alright, that's all dropped off. Next one's 15 minutes, 8.51 miles to the drop off. Alright, that's all dropped off. 1 to 4. Alright, we got our next order, Panera, 745, but we're 2 miles away from Panera now. So let's head over there. Alright, that's all picked up. 10 minutes, 3.28 miles to drop off. Alright, let's go drop this off. Leave it at my door. Alright, I'm just not feeling it today. For the day, I worked 4 hours and 24 minutes. We did all DoorDash. We did 11 deliveries. And we made $93.75. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I will see you tomorrow. I am working all day tomorrow.